There's something I've been eager to discuss since I first saw kind of like a trend about a week ago. Well, actually, a little more than now. You probably noticed it too. Now, there are rumors that some people in the gaming industry want Grand Theft Auto 6 to cost $100 for a standard edition. Now, the reasoning is that this could establish a new baseline for the game's prices, helping to cover rising inflation and increasing development costs. Now, the article we're focusing on today was from Dexerto, but many other outlets have reported on this as well. Now, the headline reads as Games Industry hopes GTA 6 costs $100 to justify gaming price hikes, says analysts. This claims just originates from the industry analyst Matthew Ball, who gave a presentation called The State of the Video Gaming in 2025. Now, in it, he explored how inflation is putting financial pressures on the gaming industry. One of the key points in his presentation was a graph showing that while the price of the games have remaining relatively stable over the years, the value of the money has significantly decreased. For instance, $60 today doesn't hold the same buying power as it did 10 to 15 years ago. In a sense, games are cheaper now than they were in the past because, well, their prices haven't kept up with the inflation. Ball and others argue that the price hike is justified due to the rising cost of the game's development. For an example, Concord reportedly had a $400 million budget but flopped and was ultimately shut down. Meanwhile, Grand Theft Auto 6 is rumored to have a staggering $2 billion development costs, which is quite insane if you ask me. With the inflation giving up the wages and the production expenses, the industry feels like they need to see some sort of compensation. Now, here's where the argument completely falls apart. While it is true that development costs have skyrocketed, game publishers are making more money than ever through microtransactions, DLC, and other post-launch monetization. This is what I call a skimflation. Back in the day, when you pay $60 for a game, you got the full experience. Sure, there were expansions, but additional purchases were optional and reasonably priced. For an example, in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, you could buy camos for $2 that worked for all of your weapons. Today, you pay $70 for a game, then $20 for a single skin or a blueprint, plus another $10 for a battle pass. Many games now generate more revenue from these microtransactions than from the initial sales of the game itself. This extra income already offsets the lower upfront price. Now, when it comes to Grand Theft Auto 6, Rockstar is likely to offer several editions of the game. There will still be probably those standard editions, a collector's edition and a premium edition, priced around $100 and going all the way to crazy $300 to $400. They might also bundle the game with the GTA Plus subscriptions, early access perks, or other extras to maximize the profits. Would people buy Grand Theft Auto 6 if the standard version costs $100? Yes, absolutely, myself included. But only because it is Grand Theft Auto 6. That's it. The hype for this game is just unprecedented, and fans would pay a premium just to experience it. However, this doesn't mean other games could pull off the same pricing strategy. GTA 6 is an outlier because of its massive fanbase and cultural impact. If other games attempted to set a $100 price point, they're likely to face a significant backlash. Inflation affects consumers as well, don't forget that. And many people are already struggling to afford games at $70. Raising the price to $100 would force players to be more selective about the purchases. Instead of buying multiple games, they might only afford one or two a year. This could hurt quite seriously. This actually could hurt smaller studios and less popular franchises. Moreover, not all games justify the current $70 price tag, let alone $100. Take Ubisoft for an example. The company has been criticized for releasing mediocre titles at the premium prices. If they try to charge $100, they'll likely be ridiculed. Even Rockstar would face criticism if they made Grand Theft Auto 6 Standard Edition $100, despite the game's overwhelming popularity. Another factor is to consider is how price increases might affect the microtransactions. If the upfront cost of the game rises, fewer people may be willing to spend extra on in-game purchases. This would undermine the microtransaction model. which relies on a larger player base to generate revenue. Game companies know this, and they're unlikely to raise prices too high and risk alienating their audiences. Realistically, we might see game prices increase to $80 in some coming years. However, $100 for a standard edition seems completely unlikely. The gaming industry has other ways to generate revenue, like microtransactions, special editions, without scaring off consumers with prohibitively high prices. My thoughts regarding this. I personally think this will be a major disaster if the games suddenly will increase in price this dramatically, because in other regions this means that the price hike will be so much more substantial than just $100. It will be like 110 euros, 120 euros. I cannot imagine how much will this cost in Australia with their Australian dollars. My goodness. And on top of that, I know for a fact that myself, I will not be buying as many games as I do yearly. Say I buy 5 games a year, and now because of $100 price tag, I know for a fact I will only get myself maybe maximum 2 games. This is a major disaster that developers, the publishers do not want. They cannot afford to do this kind of step, and if they do, they're gonna have a disaster, and game development is going to, I don't know what's gonna happen, it's gonna go down, not in a good way. So what do you think? Should games cost $100, or is the $70 already pushing it? Would you pay $100 for a standard edition, or would it make you more nervous and cautious about your purchases? Now, do let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe. I see you guys all, and have a wonderful day.